Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, I'll tell you, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way. We got some trailblazing women that doing great things, and we also got my sister back on again today. I just love having her on because she's always motivating me and everyone that she come in contact with. So we got an absolutely wonderful show coming your way today. So I'm gonna tell you right now, you might want to grab about 5, 6 bags of popcorn because it's I mean, you might want to get ready. So but I can't even start the show without bringing on the exec producer and the co-host, Dr. Michelle Cooley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Yeah, these are some extremely amazing trailblazers. I mean, they're one of many, but we are so happy to have them on the show today. And, we're also still celebrating Women's History Month, and they are the epitome of the empowerment and the entrepreneurship spirit that women are just amazing and known for. So
You're
kudos to them.
absolutely right. So I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching this on, whether you watch this on E360 television, Transverse TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, over 55 other live streaming platforms. Welcome to the show. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Michelle, I want to get started with the show. Can you please tell our viewers and our listeners the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce these three magnificent young ladies?
Oh, most definitely. So, the title of the show today is Trailblazers and Changemakers Women's History Month Celebration. And we're having a conversation with Dr. Margaret Durecki. She's the founder and executive director of an economic empowerment educational nonprofit organization called Watati Academy. We're also renowned international Moxie motivational speaker, author, publisher, entrepreneur, and Gambian Goodwill ambassador. Winnie Briscoe, she is an accomplished entrepreneur, executive business strategist, advisor to the United States government, global speaker, accredited certified forgiveness life coach, retired licensed realtor, a published author. And then we have Rose Johnson, entrepreneur, visionary, founder behind the Spotlight DMV. We're going to talk about imposter syndrome, creating the life that you want, and importance of community. So again, I mean, there's so much to talk about these amazing women. I told you about what they do, what their titles. It will take up the whole show to go over their bio. So I'm just going to say, welcome, 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 ladies. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank
You know,
you. Happy Women's History Month, ladies.
Yeah.
yes. Now, I'm looking forward to this because three different perspectives on doing three different things, and each one of you all are setting the world on fire. You might not know it completely, but you are. But anytime you reach others, especially, and I can put down, and I'll also say that we got uh, four godly women here that believe in the Lord. And that's what makes it so important when we are sharing our story, when we're telling and educating and teaching others. It's so important for it to come from the heart. So I want to start off like this. I know Michelle didn't read the bios, but I'm gonna start off with you, Dr. Derecki. Can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you and the things that you're doing?
So what I'm going to do is just keep it very brief. And then as we have the conversation, I can interject my story the way it will impact other people. But I'm pretty much in the lane of whatever I can do to uplift other people, regardless of where their life held or not. The goal is to help others rewrite their tomorrow, particularly women. So in honor of women's history, coming to an end, like Dr. Michelle said, we celebrate women history every day because we're women 24/7, 365 days a year. But what I think the the import of calling a particular month is to bring focus so that we can say, hey, so these women are really here. What makes them thick? What is important to them? Do they care for themselves? How do they take care of, how are we relating to one another? That's the conversation I want us to have. And that's why I invited these amazing young ladies here so that we can talk about it. And the topic is trailblazing, but I'm going to come from a place of worth, self-worth. That's where I'm going to stem everything that I said, because you cannot trailblaze if you don't even know what you're worth and who are you. So I just want to say my name is Ambassador Dr. Margaret Dureki. For more, go to margaretspeak.com. We have some amazing program lined up on that website. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Mrs. Briscoe, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you?
Yes, and thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you again, Dr. Margaret, for the invite to come on. My name is Wynn Briscoe, and I am the president of C-Suite for Christ, the Maryland chapter. I'm also the founder of Divine Alignment, Divine Assignment, and I'm currently the director for the Maryland Small Business Development Center Southern Region, which is a grant-funded program providing no-cost assistance to businesses and training under the Small Business Administration. So those are the three hats that I kind of wear. And today I'm here to make sure that people are aware that C-Suite for Christ is here. And we want to make sure that if they are a Christ follower and they are a business owner, executive, a community leader, or just love Christ and business, that this is a great resource to support them on their journey.
Mrs. Rose Johnson.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for the invitation on the show, Dr. Dureki, and for having us, Dr. Cooley. I have a media brand called the Spotlight DMV. I am the founder and CEO. And before that became a brand, right? What I wanted to do was talk about where I'm from. I'm from Prince George's County, which is it's a Black county in Maryland. And if you haven't heard about it, it is the wealthiest Black county in the United States. But the stories that I would see come out of Prince George's County from other media platforms were not what I was living, not what I was seeing. So I said, you know what? I'm going to change the narrative. I'm going to tell some different stories. I'm going to talk about all these good people that are in the community out here doing things. I'm going to talk about the resources that are here. I'm going to talk about the businesses that are here. I'm going to paint a whole different picture of Prince George's County because we are worth it.
Wow. You know, I used to live in Clinton, so I'm very, very familiar with Prince George's County.
Yeah,
You know, so
I love Clinton.
I want to start this off by it is Women History, and just like what Dr. Ricker said, I mean, you guys are women every single day. You all are the backbone to civilization because uh, we wouldn't exist unless we had strong women like you are. You know, so I want to each one of you guys to tell me briefly, what does Women History Month mean to you? Let's start with you, Rose. So since we just finished with you.
Yeah, so listen, let me tell you, I love a sisterhood. I love my women. I love my ladies. I like being around the energy of women when we're nurturing each other and encouraging each other. And I know a lot of times when we talk about Women's History Month, people dig in the back of the books to pull out the trailblazers from before. But I'm so inspired by the trailblazers these days, right? Like one of my favorite trailblazer, Issa Rae, how she started her show Awkward Black Girl on YouTube. And I used to watch religiously. And I saw the way that she organized to raise funds to put out her message without having to worry about Hollywood, right? And when Hollywood saw what she could do, here they come knocking. But guess what? It's on her terms now.
Exactly.
Insecure started on her terms. And not only did she start her own show, she brought other people to her show. And now she's bringing people to make movies. She's a producer. She produces other artists' work. That is so inspiring to me. And I talk to women almost every day that are doing things like that, regular women like me, like you. And so that is what Women's History Month means to me. It's a celebration of all the accomplishments of the stick-to-itness of women, of us uplifting each other and blessing each other by sharing, collaborating, and wanting to see each other win.
Win,
Yeah.
Briscoe.
Yes. Women's History Month means to me a time where we take a pause to acknowledge what we do every day. As Dr. Directy says, worthiness is what we speak about when we are trying to empower the women who don't realize the worth within, right? And to help them understand that it wasn't until after creation and we were the last thing made where it was good. Understand you are good. Understand that the gifts and the talents that God has given you are good. And the work that you do in the community, starting with your home, right? They don't even understand that that is really the foundation and the bedrock of everything. And when you find time, to be innovative and you see that there's gaps and things that need to be made, women step up and they create these ingenious things in our marketplace to bring us together as a whole, as society. So Women's History Month to me is just a month to acknowledge what we do every day.
Yes.
Wow. Dr. Director, we got about 2 minutes before the break.
So I know you're going to do that to me, but I know you. So what it is everything they said, but I'm also want to speak to the person who's listening, trying to figure out what is going to be their takeaway. But first of all, I wanted to mention to Rose, talk about Issa Rae, right? My 2 daughters now have a project with her in Hollywood. She has a new project called Finding Your People. So my daughter, my oldest daughter got chosen, then she brought her sister along. I think next month they'll be going to Hollywood for the luncheon. That's exactly what sisterhood and woman, especially being when they call the minority. I hate that word minority because before God, I'm not minor. But whatever the society labels us, that's what we're lacking. You remember me saying earlier that I thought about you too. Can I tell you guys the honest truth? I know a whole lot, not to say that, because I know both of your mindsets. Most of the times, most of us don't want to help each other, don't want to support others. But I've watched you too. Let me tell you, I ain't stupid. I look for women who will support other women unconditionally without looking for anything in return. That's who you are, Win Briscoe. That's who you are, Rose. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we don't do that, there are a lot of, if you know how many women that try to hold me down, but I am a hold down unable. Nobody, that's my grammar, put it in the dictionaries. Nobody can hold me down. You can only delay it, right? So what I'm saying is that to celebrate women, we need to celebrate the dignity, the gift in us. But oftentimes people think some of these women, that's why men tend to support each other. Not that they don't have their own little bickering. And this may be experiential to me, but I'm telling you, if the women that I knew then came and supported the talent God gave me, only God knows. But yet I'm grateful because for that, I am who I am today. So for me, celebrating Women's History Month is a time for holding some kind of accountability. I look at my books, which one do I need to delete, right? And I look at my 3 people of tomorrow. Everyone cannot be for you. But I am at the season in my life that I'm looking for the people that are divinely connected to me. Whether they are 5 years old, 60 years old, or in between, that's where I'm going to go. I'm not interested in darkness just because you're a woman or I want to connect with you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Celebrate by holding yourself accountable, re-strategizing, looking to see what it is those people in your life are doing. I'm not going to call you my sister if you don't bring anything good to my life. So it's a time to, I literally would delete their names. There's one that has been calling me, texting me, but every time she hears that somebody is about to give me a speaking engagement, she'll go behind and block it. I don't talk to you, not my sister. So I'm saying that I am very plain. I am honest. I don't do that. How are we going to call each other sisters? If I call you a sister, believe you me, you are my sister. I don't use words in vain, basically. So my 2 minutes is about to be up.
You are absolutely right.
She on
My
fire.
2 minutes is about to be up. But that's what it means to me. Looking for the right sisters, and it's not by blood, it's by Christ. Anything that will bring you together in commonality for the good of all and supporting each other. That's what sisterhood is about. That's what womanhood is about. No matter what far remote villages in the world you find yourself, you can put together the right people. It may be hard and lonely in the beginning, but stay the course. God will bring the right women to you because you can't do life alone. But you have to be patient and wait on God. That's what History Month stands for me. I've reflected, I deleted some, and I'm acquiring new ones. To God be the glory.
God
Amen.
is a glory. I tell you what, she's on fire like she
Yes.
always. We're gonna take a station break, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna get off into all of these great ladies, all three, and what they're doing in their communities and also helping others out. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and as you see, these three young ladies are on fire. Each one of them just explained and just caught all of your attention, certainly caught mine, on how passionate they are, especially about Women's History Month, and the contributions that women are providing, especially them. So I'm ready to get this show really started. And I know Michelle got a question first, but I want to play this quick video about. Well, I tell you what, just watch it and see, and you're gonna learn, and we're gonna talk about that one. So here we go.
Watati Academy, the epicenter for creative thinking, leadership, and entrepreneurship. Watati Academy was established by Watati, We're Empowered to Achieve the Impossible, in partnership with the University of Maryland College Park Nibiru Cultural Center to give middle and high school students the practical and experiential knowledge about financial literacy and workforce development that's generally not taught in schools. We teach students that it's never too early to start learning how to be fiscally responsible or establishing a business for yourself, especially when it comes to the field of STEM. Each year, we partner with the University Recreation and Wellness located at University of Maryland College Park for our esports tournament and other related activities for our STEMpreneur portion of the Academy to expose new ways that STEM careers can be pursued.
Watati is so much more than just competition, so much more than just entrepreneurship. Watati is filled with skilled people who can teach financial literacy, who can teach the entrepreneurship skills and the business skills that students are going to need, not only when they go out into the workforce, but then also when they go out to college or university.
Lastly, we create a space for young entrepreneurs to learn more about improving their small businesses through our Idea Labs, which will lead into our annual 2022 Entrepreneurship Convention and Idea Pitch Competition, where they will enter their business ideas for a chance to win prize money and mentorship from our strategic partners. Here at Watati, we want to empower students to open their minds to the never-ending possibilities and taking their creativity to new heights.
If Dr. Direct didn't reach out to my mom before the competition started, before all this started, I don't think the idea of even starting a business would have even crossed my mind anytime soon. All I thought about was like doing school, going to college, and then get a job. That's it. Rest of my life.
Wow.
Dr. James, cool. You're not gonna make me cry because I don't want my lashes to fall off.
Wow.
Where did you find that video? Sister Michelle, can you send it back to me? We got so much. I don't even know where you found that video. Oh my God.
Well, that is an amazing video about, empowering and just the women and people just knowing that they have what's in them to be all that they can be. Despite what people have told you, despite setbacks in life, you have to empower yourself by first believing and having that faith in you. We were not brought here or born here just to take up space. We were here to do great things. So I want to talk about imposter syndrome. Wow. So I researched that. I've heard that phrase many times, and there's so many different examples of imposter syndrome. But I'm going to start with you, Wynn. What is exactly imposter syndrome?
I feel like imposter syndrome is when you're showing up as someone else other than yourself, not authentic to who you and who God created you to be. And you're trying to attempt to squeeze into a mold that's not you, right? When you're trying to put your square peg in a round hole, and everyone else can see it. Not sure why you don't realize it, right? But everyone else can see it. And I think that if you just take a pause and just be who God created you to be and how you show up, and that best light, there's no need. There's no need at all. Just be the best self of you.
What about you, Rose? What is a form? Can you give an example of imposter syndrome from your point of view?
Yes, I've dealt with imposter syndrome for a long time. Even now, you feel like once you start to overcome things, then it's done. But you have to keep battling. So for me, it's been when I enter a room and I feel like I don't belong. Like just before we came on camera, I was saying, I said yes to the conversation. I was ready to show up. There was a time where if I didn't know exactly what we were going to talk about, I would have been like, no way, I'm not coming on there. And so when I read the bios, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on this platform with, I already knew Dr. Margaret was an amazing woman. And then when I read Wynn's bio and, then I reflect back on my body of work and how I look at that, I'm like, I don't even know if I have advice to give or if I can even be someone that has an inspiring story on this platform with these other women that have done such impressive work. But I think when you tell yourself things like that, right, that's a part of lying to yourself. That to me is what imposter syndrome is. I used to work at a nonprofit, and it was for convenience stores. And so we would have a lot of events where we're in the room with vice presidents and executives and things like that. And I would be so nervous to speak to them because I'm like, well, what am I going to say to them? I don't even know what I could say that could be of value. And when I started telling some of my coworkers that, they gave me advice. They're like, you don't have to go in there and feel like you're giving them advice or you have to have something profound to say. Just be you. You are such a beautiful person and your spirit is amazing. People gravitate towards you. They want to be next to you. So just show up as that. And that is all you need to do.
Thank you. Thank you. What about you, Dr. Margaret? What is imposters? What are the things you've seen, especially, with the many things you do, the Watati Academy, about, younger women, suffering from imposter syndrome. Can you kind of comment on that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna stay with what Rose talked about, and then Rose is gonna be a guinea pig. So that's why I brought you here, because I'm not trying to say I want to mentor you. I've seen your potential, and I know you have a pure heart. I'll be more than glad to continue to work with you as long as you're authentic and you're willing to be vulnerable. You talked about that. But before I answer that quick question, I'm going back to the history. I'm being a politician. You ask them one question, they go back to say what they want to say. But so I mean, I remember what was a game changer for me years ago when I was kind of struggling to figure out how come some of these women don't want to be around me. They want, and then so two things I want to say. Just understand that when the strength in you shows up and it exposes the weaknesses in order, they'll hate you for it. And if you're not careful, you will take it negatively, thinking something is wrong with you, but it's them. I got that. Did you get that? Secondly, I remember reading an article because I saw Madeleine Albright on the commercial, and she says something years ago because she's a with women advocate for women supporting other people. And she said, you better write this down. She said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know if I remember. She said, there is a special place in hell, hear me, for women who refuse to support other women. You need to think, because women are behind, not because we don't have what it takes. I don't know. I'm not saying every woman is, but there are more women that are not willing to support others. They'll rather come to your funeral, but God forgive, or they come to something stupid about that person, but they have what it takes to elevate you. That's why I wanted you two to be on this show, because you have it. Then let me address the thing. Remember that what you were dealing with right there, we'll go through that in different phases. I'm older than you like 3 times over. So you're good. You're good where you are. You're traveling the right path. That imposter syndrome comes from lack of self-feeling worth. Remember, we talk about worthiness. So it is a form of a complex, but you're healing because it's a form of inferiority complex. Remember, inferiority complex is a state of mind. Think about it. It is allowing other people's idiosyncrasies or ways of being to infiltrate into your own mind. Then you analyze it and you shrink, thinking they're better. They're even shaking in their boots, not you. But the point of the matter is a state of mind where if you don't allow yourself to be 100% you, remember that a copy can never be better than the original. If you're willing, and that's why when you meet me, you get two choices. You're going to hate me or you're going to love the heck out of me. But guess what? I could care less. You know why? Because I'm going to be me 365 degrees. Being somebody else is like, what is the analogy now? Is you will never be settled in your spirit because you know you're living a lie. You know how they say fake it until you make it? That's not true. At a point, you're going to get exhausted of faking it. I'm saying to you, it is a state of mind that we work with the students and the youth and let them know you are worthy. You are more than enough. So if nobody's speaking that coming up as you grow up, you're going to begin to feel, because when you look around, they got the Mavoda ring. What is it? Mavoda, whatever they call this. And you look at your own with a timer. You say, oh, no, it is a state of mind. Do not allow anybody to infiltrate your mindset. That's what happened. That's why in our program, we are holistic in approach. We are successful in what we do because we go to their minds, right? The event we have on the 5th at the the country club, our community open house, you're coming to that. We chose that location because that's where supposedly the rich people with the $1 billion houses are. These children are coming from the inner city small. We want to bring them to expose their mind where they're going to say, who lives here? So what do I need to do to go here? So we want to make sure that those kind of imposter syndrome, that's why people buy cars that get repossessed, because they think that they need to have that car so somebody can like them or to feel like somebody. To feel like somebody got to come from within, meaning that you're content with who God made you while you're working your way to where you need to go next.
Yes.
Wow. And Dr. Margaret, this reminds me of a story. When I used to live in Atlanta, I know people have been to Atlanta before. There is a Lenox Mall in Buckhead, right? And I lived in Clayton County outside Atlanta, and I was mentoring this young girl. She's about 15 years old at the time. So me and a friend decided just to take her and her other, teenage girl out to Buckhead. And we took her walked her through Bloomingdale's or Macy's, whatever it was. And she got uncomfortable. I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, why are we here? I said, we're just in the mall. She's like, I don't feel comfortable here. I was like, why? Why don't you feel comfortable here? And she said, this is just a whole bunch of, rich people, this and this and that. It starts from the younger age.
That's
We
right.
have to teach our young girls. I'm talking about women. Teaching our young girls that no matter what walks of life that you come from, nobody is better than you. And you should not feel out of place being someplace because maybe you didn't have the funds or your family didn't have the funds.
Come from that regard. But Sister Michelle, but guess what? That's why we don't do our events at the basement of a church. I'm not being shady, or in the basement of a library, because it is about perception. So we want to expose them to a place that will elevate them to want to be more. So everything we do is intentional. Either in a university setting, when they go, so, oh, what is it? I can come to this school. Or they go to that country club where everything, the grass you can lay down, the ambience want to make you say, I want to move in here. So that when they expose, they will never forget that. And you cannot teach that in a classroom. Period.
Wow, this is such a great conversation. I don't want to take the break, but I got to, because I got to pay the bills. I tell you, viewers out there, I see our numbers are wow. They are high, especially if you're watching on YouTube or whatever that is. And I want to say congratulations. We just went over 49,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. So, and that happened during this show right here. And I knew it was going to happen. So I tell you, we're going to take a station break, but all three of these young ladies are on fire. When we get back, we're going to talk about Christ, C-suite. It's the C-suite for Christ. And that's going to be the topic of the next one. And then, Rose, we got you coming up too.
Yes.
So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on and just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break. Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
What if that road that you're taking is a dead end? What if love leaves you all jaded and broken? What if that limb breaks you're climbing out on? Yeah, what if it all goes wrong? that road is a beautiful soul drive? What if that love ends up lasting a lifetime? What if that limb holds you oak tree strong? What if this time nothing goes wrong? What if it all goes right? What if it all works out? What if the stars line up and good luck rains down? What if you chase your dream and it changes your whole life? Yeah, what if it all goes right? What if you jump on a trampoline and touch the sky?
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I'm just thrilled to have these three beautiful women on this show that's doing great things. And I tell you, just listen to them speak. You can feel the passion. You can feel it. If you don't feel it, that means you have no feelings. So just like the video of my friend Amy, what if it all goes right? Uh, you know, every now and then we put all the pieces together, right? When we get knocked down, we
And
get
right
back,
back.
and we should learn from every time we get knocked down. But then, if we continue to learn, just like what Dr. Derecki has said, I mean, continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to grow. Sooner or later, you're expecting to get knocked down. Like you all were talking about the imposter syndrome 3 minutes ago, expecting to get knocked down. Be yourself. If you do the right things, if you believe, if you believe in a higher power, like we all do, God's gonna intentionally make sure that it all goes right.
Yeah.
With that being said, when I watched your video, and I want to lead off with that video, and I want you to come back and talk about the programs that you're involved in. So here we go.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. As disciples of Christ, we're told to love our brother, our fellow man, heck, even our enemies. And for a long time, believers and non-believers have largely coexisted. Unfortunately, something's changed in secular society today. A rising tide of intolerance towards Christians has emerged. Now, people of faith are labeled bigots, we're shamed into silence, and we're painted as outcasts. Perhaps the best description of what confronts us as Christians today is one word: hate. Jesus warned his followers that we'd be persecuted. We're now living this very reality. This is happening in a time when the world desperately needs Christ. The forces of evil are hard at work, and only God can reverse the troubling trends that we see all around us. But how do we clear a path for him? Now, our faith tells us who we are and how we should live. It's time to take a stand for what we believe, and C-Suite for Christ, a ministry of Christian business executives, is leading the way forward. The mission of C-Suite for Christ is to cover the entire world in Christ. We boldly and unapologetically honor the Great Commission. We work to shine Christ's light in an increasingly dark world. If you're fed up with isolation, shame, and persecution simply for practicing your faith, we're on your side. As fellow Christians,
Hey, Wayne,
Yes.
I want to pick it up with that. Can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about C-Suite for Christ and some of the things that you all are doing, and why it's so important that people, believe in Christ? I do. Michelle do. Dr. Ricker do. I know Rose do. Believe in it, and we follow him. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, and to pick up where that video left off, Paul Neumberger is the founder of C-Suite for Christ. It's based in Wisconsin, and it has grown now to various states and cities across the nation, and they're expanding internationally. And so C-Suite for Christ's mission is to cover the world with Christ. And we see that there is a gap really in supporting the Christ followers, those who are business owners, executives, leaders, those who are out in their communities and really have a core of Christ at their core, but not knowing how to bring that together into the marketplace, right? They feel like they have to separate their relationship with God and really who has made them successful and brought them good success, and having to segment that out. And so when people ask me, what is CC for Christ? And I tell them it's a great combination and collaboration between church and chamber. It brings together those two backgrounds that you are familiar with, right? But they're always separate. You typically are not able at your business events to be able to express what success God has brought to your business. Well, that's what our God Moments area, we have a great agenda, and that's what God Moments covers, right? We have a great keynote speaker every month that really gives us tools and nuggets on how to walk out our faith with our employees and our customers, and how to grow our businesses being Christian business owners or being an executive in your workplace, and what that looks like to really just share your story and to help others grow their relationship with Christ, and to really just know that that's really what we're charged to do. Dr. James Cooley, is the Great Commission. As Paul says, it's not the Great Suggestion, it's the Great Commission. That is what we are charged to do as Christ followers. And we want to make sure people know they're supported all the way around. You don't have to separate who you are from whose you are. That's not needed. At C-Suite for Christ, you can come together and holistically, we can support you and the vision and the dreams that God has given you, as well as your business and your employer, and really just to know it's a wraparound for what's missing right now in society as a whole.
Wow. You're dead on it, because it's important, I believe, as a business owner, and have an ultimate power. That means that as a business owner, sometimes we lose sight and we think that the glory is ours. It's like everything is me. I'm doing it. I'm doing all these things. I'm doing all this. What most people fail to realize is tragedy or something is going to occur. You're going to find out that you're not in charge. It's important that we don't lose that insight. Dr. Durek, I want to get your thoughts on that.
So, for me personally, without that higher power I call my God, and I'm unabashed to call him my God. I remember when I was a speaker at FBI, they told me to sign paper that I shouldn't say God. By the time I finished, I mentioned God like 10 times. And they asked me why. I told them I wasn't speaking to convict, but to say the essence of who I am, and they were able to accept that. If you that is part of that self-worth. Oftentimes, because we haven't defined who is in control of our lives as much, we have a role to play in it. That's why we're always seeking, trying to figure out, do we hear? But if you find that centeredness and listen to that inner, because some people say, how do I know it's God talking to me? When you get to that place of knowing that, and that's not the absence of struggle. Presence of God is not absence of adversities, right? Is that he's going to be there with you, and you come and you emerge even better than you went in. So I think it's vitally important now for those that are believers. And I told somebody that I met at one of our events this week, and she has a business, and she was saying that she doesn't let people who are not a Christian come to her business or to work for her. I said, no, you missed the whole thing. So who are you going to minister to? How are you going to bring people there? So, you know me? I'll say, should I? I say, yeah. So I totally believe in what she said, and I think it's the only way to go. But do it diligently, softly, without overbearing. And living the life so people will follow. People always say to me, what do you do? I want to be part of you. I never go to people. I say, come follow me. And that's how Jesus did it. So we want to be Christ-like in the way we do it. But when you try to beat people over the head with it, they're going to say, excuse you me. And this lady here is living it. The way she lives, you can tell. She says she's ready to run for Christ, and I'll be here to support her. And
we're going to support her. Rose, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, we were talking a bit before the show about this, and you know, I just in 2020, that's when I started my personal faith walk with God. And I grew up in church, and when I was able to decide for myself if I was going to go to church and all of that, I kind of turned against it, right? And I would say some awful things, and I'd talk, you know, people that were believers were hypocrites, and you know, I just watched
they are too, for real. They are hypocrites.
Well, so I will watch how people would behave and be like, "Oh, aren't you Christian? I thought you were Christian." So I was very much in a judgmental mind frame. And in 2020, when everything was happening, but mostly when all the protests broke out across the country, like I felt so hopeless. I felt so hopeless. And I was out doing some work because I had asked my pastor at that time, could we do something? We are a Black congregation. We should be doing something, you know, and I was ready to have to fight over this because, like I said, I wasn't even going to church. So it's like, here comes this woman. I don't even know who you are, because he had been there for 10 years. I don't even know you. I know your mom. I don't know you. You don't come here and you're telling me what we should be doing. But he was like, what's your ideas? Okay, let's do it. So when I was out there passing out flyers for an event that we were having, like I was on my knees because I remember I was doing something at the fence, and I was sitting there like, nobody's going to come to this. This is just all a waste of time. And I look up and there's this woman there, and she's like, are you the one that's passing out these flyers? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And she said, well, my organization is having an event the day after your event. So I'll have my people come to your event, and then you bring your people to our event. I have all these things to give out to people. And right there, like I got chills down my whole body. And I knew right then that was God speaking to me. And so ever since all of that happened, I've been looking for people that wanted to share their testimonies, that wanted to talk about how God works in their lives. And so when I'm out and about and I'm doing my thing with the Spotlight DMV, I find God out in these events all the time, right? I find it all the time, these spiritual conversations. And people might not say God, but when they're talking, I'm like, what you're talking about is God. And so I hear now executives that are speaking about the business that they do and that they are being led by God. They want to give back. They want to look out for their community. And so I just think it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful space to be in, because how empowering is that to know that someone is being led by the Spirit, right?
Led by the Spirit is so great. Yeah. You know, we're going to take a quick station break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the Spotlight DMV. And, you know, we're going to have about 7 minutes left in the show when we get back. But, you know, I got to have you guys back. I mean, we need like 10 hours in order to convey all of our thoughts. But we're going to take a station break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Rose a little bit more. And I tell you, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are, and one that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through, it seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of
everybody, I'm Carrie Farinack with America's SBDC TV. Are you thinking of starting a business, or are you ready to grow your current business? Perhaps you need some assistance due to a natural disaster or a life event. Well, with about 1,000 locations nationwide, Small Business Development Centers, also known as SBDCs, are the perfect resource to get your questions answered and your business on track. With nearly 40 years of expertise, proven ROI, and stellar client ratings, SBDC professionals are the nation's most trusted small business resource. In fact, every 35 minutes, a new business is opened by an SBDC in-depth client, generating an average of $100,000 in sales every 7.5.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I tell you, I mean this, and it's probably like my 600th show. We got to do this again, ladies.
Yeah.
We got to do this again. We can't pack all of this geniusness and all of these great things in 1 hour. It's gonna take at least 2 or 3. Yeah. Yeah, we got about 6 minutes left in the show. And Rose, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Spotlight DMV. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners exactly what that is and what you all do?
Yes, so the Spotlight DMV, it is a media brand where I focus on the community, the events, and the resources of the DMV area, and that is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And there is a big focus on Prince George's County. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm from Prince George's County. It is a majority Black county. And when you look at Prince George's County in comparison to some of the other counties that surround DC, you see that there is a difference. There is a lack. And so I want to put out there about the resources that are out there. I want to advocate for our county and for things that we need. And I want to just talk about our people and our rich history. And I want to share all of that with the larger masses. And then I also have a YouTube podcast where I invite people to come on and talk about their life, give a testimony, talk about their business, whatever it is that they want to talk about.
Wow. And tell us a little bit more about your YouTube channel. When is it on? And what type of guests are you looking for?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it started because during COVID, I would meet up with my friends in the parking lot of Jasper's. All of y'all from the area, you know what Jasper's is. It's it used to be B Town Soundstage.
Yeah,
that was
I
owned
go
by
there. I was there 2 days ago.
Yeah. So we used to hang out in the parking lot of Jasper's because we couldn't be inside together. And so it was like close to the holidays. And I remember it was so cold and we were out there doing like a gratefulness circle. And I was like, we got to start talking about this. Like, people need to know this history and what's been going on. We need to leave a legacy of what this time was like for us. So I have all kinds of people. The first person was actually a gentleman that loves music, and he puts together playlist on Spotify. And so anybody ask him for a playlist and he'll do it, and he doesn't charge you. It's like, I want a birthday playlist. Can you make one for me? And he'll do it. And so because he was doing that for us during that COVID time, I wanted to spotlight him. And so it's stories like that. It's stories from business owners that want to share about their business and why they started it, all kinds of stories.
Wow. You know what? Everybody get 30 seconds apiece. I'm looking at the clock. Closing remarks. Dr. Durek, starting with you first.
So it's my pleasure to be here with my sisters. They're all my baby sisters. I'm the senior amongst everyone here, and that's what my life work is about. So for those of you that want to connect further, we have a major event coming up. I formed this thing called Women Empowered Rise Up Network. If you go to margaretspeak.com/women empowered, or under services, just go to margaretspeak.com/services. you will find that information where we teach them how to start their own businesses or how to follow up to succeed. Then June 15th is our Scholarship and Awards Gala with tatiacademy.com/convention, University of Maryland. Until next time, I would say the building is not God, but your relationship with God is what makes your relationship with God God. So don't worry about the hypocrites, because in the church and everywhere they are, will find that divine relationship straight to God, whether through Seacrest or anybody else. And I say, with Tati, power. Let's do
But
it.
Tati Powell, when 30 seconds closing remark.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Duricki, for inviting me to be on. I solely greatly appreciate this. And thank you, Dr. Cooley. You and your wife are amazing in your platform. Again, Maryland C-Suite for Christ chapter. So for those who are in the state of Maryland, we are based out of Bowie. We meet every month as a meetup there, as well as if you're not in the Maryland area, you can watch virtually. I highly suggest, if you are a Christ follower and you business entrepreneur, anyone in the community that's a leader, please go to the website. It's maryland.csuiteforchrist.com, and you can register there. Our upcoming, the next April 3rd is our upcoming fellowship. And then from there, we will have March 1st as a open, great time networking and fellowship event that we're going to be kicking off. But we meet in Bowie every first Wednesday of the month at 5 p.m.
Every first one. Rose, close it out. 30 seconds less.
Yes, so I am just so happy to have been on this platform today. Thank you for having me. And I call myself a revolutionist, a love revolutionist. So if you want to receive some love, follow me on Instagram at the Spotlight DMV. You can find all my other links on there as well. I'll shout you out. I'll highlight your business. I'll highlight whatever you're doing. If you have a resource that you want to share, I will highlight that too. When you have to send me your information so that I can tell everybody about it. That's what I do. I share information. I collaborate. I bring us all together. So yes, come get loved on at the Spotlight DMV on Instagram.
Well, I want to thank each and every last one of you for taking the time to come on. My sister, Ambassador Dr. Duricki, you always hit a home run. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to come on the show. Again, we got to do this again. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's your live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and also syndicated on the radio every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life.